Hello and welcome to another episode of the Polo Punt Club Podcast. Jonesy, how you going?
Mate, good.
I'll stop you right there, mate, because I have something to say.
All right.
Look, punters, it wasn't my best effort last week. I'm going to be completely honest and upfront straight away.
It's time to come clean.
Oh God, it was tough going on the weekend for everyone involved. But gee whiz, I could not pick. I couldn't even pick a nose on the weekend. It was that bad. So I actually tweeted out about the 5th or 6th race. Just disregard all my tips. Treat them as a scratching. They were that awful. So,
oh man, it happens to the best of us. Yeah, it was a tough weekend for the Polo Punt Club.
Oh gee, yeah. But you know we're Brazilian and we come back. We're here again. We're fronting up and we're facing the music.
Yeah, look, we're honest. We're up front, and at least you can rely on us to be back again next week chasing losses.
Never stop chasing. Alrighty, punters, before we get into the show, we'll just give you a bit of a recap of what we'll be covering in the show this week. So we're going to touch on the horses that caught our eyes each week. So that might be from the trials, might not all from last week's meeting, but what about you, mate?
Mate, all of mine, actually no, 2 of mine are from the meeting. One's from a trial, so.
Beautiful. We're also going to touch on some punting terminology, exotics this week, mate.
Mate, love the Joe Exotics.
Yeah, love them. Polo Recipients for the week, so Jonesy will give us a bit of a refresher on that as we go. We'll do the meeting preview of Caufield. 10 races, mate. How good?
Mate, I haven't seen a 10-race card for a while.
No, it's typically when they get rained out, but which, Moonee Valley, what a shit show that was.
Yeah, genuine mud bath.
Yeah. Jungle Edge would be filthy, wouldn't he? In his box.
He really would, mate. He really would. He'd be like Michael Phelps swimming through that type of track.
Mate, he had his goggles, his snorkel on. He was ready to go.
Flippers even. 4 of them.
And then we'll do a deep dive into Memsie. I wasn't not as excited for this one as I was last week.
No, but still cracking race.
Better than the winter features, that's for damn certain.
Hey.
And then we'll get stuck into the Juicy Stakes as well, where we try and hopefully raise a bit more money for Living Legends this week.
How many ticks did I give Adelong last week?
At least 3.
It was at least 3. Jeez.
And Funstar clearly couldn't get around the track that because I was holding her down. I was clearly her anchor.
Mate, you're a genuine brick.
God.
Or you were a genuine brick. My apologies.
Jeez. It was it was horrific behaviour. But all right, mate, let's get stuck in. Horses that caught our eye. Far away.
Mate, I'm just going to go straight in with Probabile. Thoughts?
She's on my list.
Mate, give me your thoughts.
I just clear flashing light. She doesn't really show the form that she does second, third, fourth up as she does first up. That was her first up run over 1,200. I think she's on a Cox Plate path. So out to 2,000. Wherever she's going next start, I'm backing her. She'll be awfully hard to beat.
100%. She was coming close to last with like 200 metres to go, and just out of nowhere, just weaves through them and finishes second. So, yeah, that was a huge run, and yeah, I think I'm with you. I think I'll be following her wherever she goes. That's for sure. Absolutely.
I had Imaging from the meeting as well, so this is the second time I've brought him up. I thought he was painfully unlucky not to win that race on the weekend. The reason why I was against him prior to the race was because he didn't draw a barrier, and I think that's actually what ended up defeating him in the end. You see him in the straight, he was zigging and zagging, he was bumping into horses, he got really badly checked at about the 200 or 300 and stopped his momentum, but he picked it back up straight away. Yeah. And I thought he was an awesome run to run fourth, so I think he'd be much better suited at a handicap as well.
Yeah, agreed. So another one for me, Classique Legend.
Yes, he trialled up very nicely.
Trialled very nicely. So such a slick time in that trial as well. Grey horse.
Yeah. Hey, must run well in the wet, isn't that right?
Yeah. So the trainerless bridge is targeting the Group 2 race, the shorts, which is in Randwick on September 19th. So
There you go.
Keep an eye out. So obviously Classique's going to challenge a good horse by the name of Nature Strip.
NS. But yeah, he's already got an Everest spot. I think Kieran McAvoy is already locked in to ride him. So definitely. And his one run in the winter was really good too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. That's something that caught my eye this week as well.
Yeah, nice. I had Zabrowski out of the feature as well.
Yep.
I thought, actually, one of our followers, Milne.
Shout out Milne.
Shout out Milne. He made it great. He actually tipped Zabrowski on top in that race, which, credit to him. Looks like a proper horse. He's come back really well. He's going to be out to 2,000, 1.5 mile, out to 2,400 even. So I think they might be aiming towards a Caufield Cup, light in the weights. I think he's still about 30, 40 to 1 in the futures, so he could definitely feature. But he's definitely one that's caught my eye.
Yeah,
Any others, mate?
Mate, not actually in Randwick, so my apologies, but I said all of them were in the meet, then I said 2 of them were, and then only 1 of them actually is. But Miami Bound ran 4th in the first race in Moonee Valley. It was last at the 400 metre mark, but absolutely stormed home on what was, like we said, a jungle edge type track, mud bath. Obviously, last year was the Oaks winner.
Yeah. Disappointing autumn.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, showed some fight in that race and prefers further. So
no, she had a great return. The only thing about that is the rail is where you want it to be. There was nothing making any ground out wide.
Yeah.
So she was still one of the few ones to still make any ground on the leaders. So no, she that's the best run that she's had for a while. But if she's going to feature and take that next step up, I think she's going to need a bog track to really feature on it. The one I actually thrown in as a little bit of a bonus is It's Me, the highway winner.
Yeah, right.
Mate, she was stunning.
Yeah, yeah.
She ran a better time than the race that Dame Giselle won. Yeah, she
okay.
beat it by about a length in times. So yeah, all credit. Yeah, all credit to her, mate. She absolutely mowed him down, and I think Dame Giselle did it out in front. It's Me. She did it from way out back. So she's going to be aimed towards the Kosciuszko. She's going to take on Front Page, who looks a proper smart horse.
Sure does.
But yeah, I think she could very easily run into the money there. So they're the ones that have caught our eyes this week, punters. But who caught your eyes? Let us know on social. Or in the comments section on YouTube. We're on YouTube for real this time.
We're actually on YouTube.
Yeah, not 16 minutes like last week.
I reckon in the podcast last week we mentioned the fact that we were on YouTube like several times. Yeah. The irony was we were on YouTube, albeit not for long.
No, we weren't. We're still learning, guys, so keep with us. Alrighty. Punting terminology this week, mate. I wanted to dive a bit deeper into exotics, your Joe Exotic bets. So basically, these bet types are something that you need. You need more than one successful outcome to be successful. That's how I've kind of summarized it. So popular bet types are quinellas, exactas, trifectas, first fours, quadrellas, quaddies, all ups, that sort of thing.
Yep.
So that's basically what these are. My favorite, I really love a quinella.
You do like a quinella?
And because you can get some massive value, but they're harder to land. But what are some of your faves, mate?
Mate, love the quaddie, obviously. Also a big fan of a box try, especially when you find those races where it's $4 or $5 the field, and you think there's a few decent chances. Chuck 4 or 5 horses in, get a 20, 30, 40% of the trifecta. And usually it can return some decent value. So I like box tries.
Yeah. No, you can get some massive value if you really don't like the favourite in something.
Yep.
And you think it's just like Savatiano this weekend. I'm a bit against it.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Like even Behemoth at the $4. Like, I think he's a great winning chance, but I think that's just far too short. I could play around those two and basically lob some things in at $10 and get some really nice prices for my exotic bets.
Agreed. A good day as well for your exotics is, I guess, any day that has a lot of Group 1s. So Derby Day is a perfect example because there's so many good horses and the value is really there. If you can land one, it'll tend to be something quite decent.
Absolutely. Alrighty. So I guess we'll just run through what some of the exotic bet types actually are. So a Quinella is basically you're backing the first 2 horses past the post.
Yep.
Trifecta, first 3 past the post.
Yep.
Box trifecta, so that'd be any of first 3 past the post in any order. Same with a first 4 as well, just the first 4. And then your quaddies, mate. Run us through a quaddie.
Mate, so the quaddie is you basically need to pick the winner for the last 4 races of a card. You can chuck as many horses in as you like for each race, but that means that you have to spend more money in order to get a higher percentage of the quaddie back. Pretty straightforward. So the less horses you have, the higher percentage you'll have. But obviously it's less likely that it's going to pay off. So it's a good team sport, the quaddie. That's why we like it.
Oh, mate, it really brings punt clubs together.
It really does.
Yeah.
And, if you can get all your mates, each pick a horse in each leg of the quaddie, chuck it in, it just brings you together.
Yeah. And the more juice, the better. You heard it here first, punters. Oh, mate, Macca sent me through his tips before. He's going away from our girl in the last, but we'll save that for later.
Okay.
Alrighty. Mate, let's get stuck into the Polo Recipients. But before we do, for the new listeners of the show, and maybe for the existing listeners who need a bit of a refresh, what are the Polo Recipients, mate?
So for the uninitiated, basically the Polo Recipients fall under 3 distinct tiers, and they match, I guess, the tiers of polos in our opinion. So the best polos being your greys and your navies. You've got middle tier polos, which are your whites, your blacks, maybe your greens and your reds, and then you've got your worst polos, which are really just orange and purple. So we like to go through, I guess, the happenings of the week.
Yes.
Pick out a couple of things that caught our eye and give them a designated polo tier.
Some are not from racing, but others are.
Yeah, this segment we like to, deviate a little bit.
Mix it up a little bit. Alrighty, mate, kick us off. Who's your top tier this week?
Mate, you would have seen this, and I'm guessing a lot of punters probably did, but tab.com on their Instagram page shared a picture of a bloke who had 2 12-leg multis. So he was so confident in his 12-leg multi that he double tapped it. And basically on the weekend just gone, the last leg of his multi, which was spanning multiple different types of sports and multiple weeks, he needed the Roosters to beat the Tigers for a return of $400,000.
Mate, I'll run you through the exact legs that he had, right?
All right.
So we had West Tigers 1-12, Newcastle 1-12, Richmond against the Gold Coast, Parramatta against Melbourne. That's a hard tip off the bat. Roosters against West Tigers, West Coast by 16 plus, St Kilda by 1-39, a few international soccer games, Boston to beat Philly. Got the broom out, didn't they?
They got the broom out.
Yeah. And then the Clippers to beat Dallas.
Successful. Clippers Dallas, I'm pretty sure, is even at the moment. So this man has done a really great job. And the funniest part is, so one of those returns initially was like $200,000, and they're like, you know what? I'm so confident, I'm going to double tap it.
Yeah,
so
I know.
$400,000 return. That's Navy tier stuff.
Yeah. He's done very well there. My top tier this week was actually Racing New South Wales opening the borders between Victoria for racehorses again. So it was open for breeding, but it wasn't open for race horses.
Right, okay.
Which without not being able to cross back or something like that. But basically, Peter V'landys, the GOAT, he's finally made up his mind, and he's not made it so difficult for Victorian trainers to take their horses down up to Sydney. So it actually affected a lot of trainers on the border. So
Of course, yeah.
Mitch Beer, he's great on social. If you haven't seen him, punters, he's very, very funny.
Give him a follow.
But he lost a stack of horses in his stable because of it. Because the connections wanted to race their horses in New South Wales, so he doesn't have to suffer through that anymore. So I thought
That's good.
That's brilliant for racing. It's just especially during these tough times, it's good to have these good news stories, mate.
Yeah, certainly. And
Middle tier.
Does Peter V'landys deserve like an honorary polo, like a top tier one? He's been pretty good this year,
mate. Yeah, he'd have to, wouldn't he? Like, what? So he's kept horse racing going. He was very on the front foot to get rugby league back going.
Everyone thought he was crazy.
Mate, visionary.
Peter Vanderleys for Vanderleys. Oh, gee whiz. Peter for president of the United States 2020. Screw Trump.
Yeah.
Anyways, middle tier. I'm gonna give VE and Chris Waller in the Wing Stakes a middle tier. Classy animal. Love her. Chris Waller's a great trainer, but that was a genuine kick in the nads.
Yeah,
so it was great, but for the Polo Punt Club, it wasn't that great.
How's Macca going down by a nostril?
Oh, star of the seas! What a punt that was.
Yeah,
it was a genuine nostril too.
Yeah, no, mate, that was an unbelievable race, and I think she proved to a lot of people that she is just a class above a lot of horses in this country at weight for age. So she's definitely one to watch for the weight for age contest throughout the spring. My middle tier is actually the Tab Punter, but the reason why it's a middle tier is because
interesting.
I'm putting Tab Punters in the middle tier. So a couple of weeks ago, I presented the good viral text messages and the bad. So you got the good Tab Punter, who's the punter that you just went through.
Yep.
And then you have the bad one. So one punter on the weekend had a $40 multi. $40. I could live without $40. Don't know if you could.
Not at the moment. Times are tough.
So this punter had a $40 multi. He had Kiss the Bride and Sweet Deal. 4 legs. Kiss the Bride, Sweet Deal. Bang, bang. They win. What do you think he does there? He cashes out.
What?
He cashes out for $320. Third leg. Very elegant. Fourth leg. Zakat, the thing that won at $10 in the last, leaves $84,000 on the table.
Oh, no.
I know.
No.
So
that hurts.
It doesn't it? So you have the brilliant story of the punter who doubled down, chucked $700 to win $400.
Yeah, how's that? I love, like, it's awesome, obviously, but then, like, you know what? I'm that confident. I'm going to double tap it for $400 grand.
I'm going to do it again,
please.
And then you have this other punter who he's happy for an 8-1 pop. You know, $40 into $320, which I'm happy with that too. But you got to let it ride, surely.
Oh yeah, 100%. You get the first 2 legs, $40. Yeah, you let it ride.
At least for the third leg, and then you can stake it. If you want to cash out, you could stake it and then figure stuff out.
Agreed, yeah.
But that's a real kick in the guts.
Really is.
Alrighty, mate. Bottom tier. Who's terrible this week?
Mate, I'm gonna say I'm terrible because so on Monday afternoon, basically got a text saying that I was in contact with someone who was in contact with a confirmed case of bloody Rona. So you could imagine the state of mind I was in. I was pissed off. Anyways, I was I was talking to my girlfriend. I was like, oh, what should we do? And we didn't have to go and get tested because obviously it wasn't a direct contact, but we went and got tested on Monday night. So I'm going to give the Rona test swab.
It's
a bottom tier polo.
Unpleasant, isn't it?
It's unpleasant. And, so basically for people who haven't had one, they get a big swab, chuck it down the back of your throat. So you're like, so they do, and it goes straight into your schnoz afterwards. Both nostrils, all the way at the back. It's like the way I described how it feels to someone was, it's like when you go for a swim in the ocean and you get dunked by a wave, and at the same time you almost like breathe in, so you just get like water rush through your throat and then through your nose, or vice versa, and you get that weird sort of salty water feeling at the back of like in your nostrils and your throat. And it just feels gross.
None of that sounds good. And I had one a few weeks ago, and it just turned out I was hungover for a few days. But when the lady who was doing it, and she was getting talked through it when it was going through my nose, and when she came out, she didn't bring it straight out. She went sideways, so she got a bit jammed. Jammed. Oh
no,
that hurt. That sucked.
No.
So,
and obviously, disclaimer: I got my test results back this afternoon, and I'm positive. No, I'm negative, guys. Otherwise, the podcast was in genuine peril. It was.
Oh, it was. Yeah, we were calling in the reinforcements, but all of them were engaged. So, shout out Dolab. Happy birthday, mate.
HB Dolab.
Yeah. But, mate, that not pleasant. I can understand why it's your bottom tier.
It's a genuine purple polo.
Alrighty. My bottom tier this week, punters, is it's me again. So we've kind of stolen each other's notes. So I'm putting my tipping as a bottom tier. It's a two-tone this week. It's going to be purple and orange. If I hadn't run into the money in any of my races, it would have been a purple. But it's a two-tone because it wasn't a complete and utter disaster, but it was bloody close.
The Franken polo, which is, it's the next worst thing after a purple.
Yeah, it's so, and let me just talk you through it, punters, all right? From race 1, Desert Path, I think, got checked at the top of the straight. He needs everything right to go in his races. He just lost his momentum, never going to be in it. Ran a really nice fourth. If it was the highway, the second race, my best roughie of the day, Scarborough, only missed the start by 15 lengths. So some bookies actually refunded your bet if I got a refund on my bet because they were just like, well, mate, you didn't have a chance. The King in the next, he was last on a really soft tempo. He had no chance. See you soon. Got scratched at the barriers.
Sure did.
And then Funstar, who I thought was an absolute moral, did nothing.
Me too.
Did nothing.
Oh, that was so disappointing.
And then we both brought down Adelong, made a case for Sweet Deal in that race, and she landed up winning. It was a complete and utter disaster.
Oh, mate, imagine if that was Derby Day.
Oh, be filthy.
You wouldn't have had to have done much to not get the polo.
Oh, so that was me this week, punters. It's a bit rough. But you know what? As we said at the top, resilience. It's a key personality trait in both of us and in punters in general.
It has to be. Otherwise, we'd never come back.
Yeah. Alrighty. Let's get stuck into the meeting preview of Caufield, mate. Hold on. Let me get my notes here. Alrighty. My notes are up. We're good to go. Alrighty. First race of the card, mate. 2,400 metre contest, handicap at Caufield. So, did you have any strong thoughts on this race?
Mate, nothing too strong, but I'm happy to be conservative and pick one of the favourites. So I'm with number 5, Person.
Yes.
Look, lots of ticks. Query, obviously, it's been 5 weeks since its last run. I think number 4, Taviron, is the obvious danger, but was swamped pretty late in its last run. But yeah, happy to be conservative and jump on the favourite for this.
Mate, I'm on Person as well. Big tick for me is the drop in weight.
Yep.
Just weighed him down a little bit too much last start. But I think in his last 8 starts, he's run into the money in the top 3, and he's won a few. And one of them at Flemington, I believe it was, he was arrogant in that win. He absolutely blew him apart. I think Exemplar will be the... he's the one who... He led last start at Caufield or Flemington. Let's have a look. Yeah, at Flemington, and nothing challenged him for the lead, and he just jogged around. He goes up in weight. He won't be winning. I'm declaring it now. Cannot win that thing, especially because there's a bit more speed in this race with Persan in there. He'll be able to just lob off the back of him, and I think he'll prove too strong in the end.
Yeah, so. And I think, as we were talking about earlier, Joe Exotics, Quinella and Persan and Taviron, I think would be nice.
Yeah, I would even, to get some better values, an exacta, I reckon.
Yep.
Yeah, just single out Persan as your first place, and then Taviron to run second, and then...
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm happy to risk the rest. So, yeah, Persan in the first. Cool. Alrighty, second race of the card, mate. Benchmark 78 handicap over 1100. Where'd you land?
Mate, look, number 1, Windstorm. Geez, that looks like a good horse, and its sectionals from its previous races are like group level. Yeah. It's only been beaten once. So it was actually supposed to race on the weekend just gone at the Valley, but obviously the back half of that card was abandoned. So yeah, I really like Windstorm. There is one horse though that I am going to keep an eye on.
Interesting.
Number 16, Rulership. So he places a favourite last start, and he draws really well in this to do not a lot of work. So I'm just going to keep an eye on him, but I think Windstorm wins this.
Yeah, smart play by you, keeping an eye on Rulership, because if he wasn't favourite for the Blue Diamond, he would have been second or third line of betting. No, Hanseatic was favourite. I reckon he was second favourite that day.
Yeah, he was. I couldn't remember if he was favourite or not, but I know he was one of the top horses.
Yeah, he just doesn't look right to me, but... You know, I hope he comes back better, but yeah, he has drawn really well. Damien Lane on the back could be a lot worse, but I think he's a out-and-out 1,000-metre horse, so I'd be happy to risk him. I have Windstorm on top as well, but it's always a risk. Horses that haven't gone to Caufield before and run from the back of the field.
Yeah,
I just have that in the back of my mind, and that's why I'm probably going to spec at odds the closer, number 14. This mare last raced behind Propel last start. I think there was only a field of 8 there, and she was all dressed up, mate, with nowhere to go. There was a wall of 3 in front of her, and you just see the jock.
Yeah.
She was a mannequin, mate, not moving on it.
Oh,
and
really?
Yeah, when she finally did get out, her last 20 metres even, she was really, really strong through the line. So I think she could potentially run into the money, but I think Windstorm's the most likely winner. But I think the closer can definitely go into your exotics punters. Alrighty, race 3 on the program is a 1,400 metre contest, benchmark 90 for mares. Handicap, mate. I don't know about you. This is a bloody dartboard special,
mate. This is a Winnie Blue. This is a highway type, and because of that, I've found a roughie that I'm glad to hear that. Gonna have a shot at the big time with. So I like the number 16, 1,000 Wishes. So look, it's down 4.5 kegs, and its second up form is great. She's good at the distance too. Drawn a middle barrier, but I think the middle of the track might have the better turf. So look, yeah, genuine Winnie Blue type this race.
Yeah, so on the website I did the first 5 races on the card. Jonesy did the second 5, and there's a couple of races in this first 5 which are really hard.
Yeah, when you said, mate, I'll take the first 5 for the preview. Well, do you want to take the second 5? I was like, yup.
Well, I hadn't looked at them at that stage. It's like, whatever.
You did me a real solid.
Oh, gee.
But yeah, I thought, why not in a race like that, just go with a roughie that could feature in the Joe Exotics
I'm going for one at an each-way price, as the majority are here. But number 7, My Gold Bracelet, the Group 2 winner from New Zealand. Now, Mick Price has given this horse not a massive push, but he's said it's a quality animal that's just come into his stable. So I think she could probably measure up here. She'll probably sit midfieldish. Obviously, hasn't gone around Caufield. This is her first run in Australia. She might need the run, but can definitely find out at $7-8. Cool. Alrighty. Race 4 is a 1,400 metre handicap. Mate, who did you land on in this one?
Mate, the number 4, Yulong January. So it ran 5th in a Group 3 a few weeks ago. The old fella, Home of the Brave, won that race.
Oh, gee, he's got out of his wheelchair to win that. Didn't he?
He did. And he was Yulong was only 2.5 lengths away and will be fitted for that. And he actually looked really good in that race. If you watch the replay, he's one of those horses that's got the he's got the style of run where he really sort of pushes his head forward. I thought it looked a pretty good run, even though he finished 5th. And look, I think the other parts of the form read quite well, and happy to go with him at an each way price.
Yeah, mate, I think that's a great shout. Not many winning chances in this race for mine. You have Ocean X, who's resuming. She's on a Melbourne Cup path. She's already got the golden ticket in. Toffee Tongue, the Oaks winner from
Adelaide, yep.
Nonconformist, he's on a Cups or Cox Plate path. Who else? And the rest are just not good enough. I went for two. I think the two most likely winners outside of Yulong is I Am Superman, who's trialled up splendidly, and Morrissey, who was in the PB Lawrence riding the speed where he put the handbrake down. Back to a handicap here. I think he's far better suited. Drew barrier 1, which can be sticky, but he's pretty quick out of the gates. So I think Willow can get him forward, and he'd be awfully hard to run down. I've gone for Morrissey on top, just over I Am Superman, just because he's got that fitness edge over 1,400, which I think will pay a little bit late. Righty, race 5, mate. 2,000 metre, just a quality race apparently. Handicap,
just quality.
There is.
How'd you go with this one?
This was tough as well.
Yeah, this was tough.
The classiest horse in this race is the one, Young Rascal.
It is.
Went around at an odds-on favourite in the Sydney Cup, and then proceeded to do not much. But I definitely think he's the best horse in the race at this stage in their career. But he's only raced under 2,200 once in his career, and that was his very first start over a mile.
Right.
So I'm happy to risk him. He's on a Melbourne Cup path, so no thanks. I've gone for Shabao on top here, the number 9. So not the autumn just gone, but last autumn, this bloke was flying. He was winning every single race that he was in. He's got a stunning record, and his race in the winter, it didn't really show you much. I think he'll have a bit of residual fitness from that, and he'll be good to go here over the 2,000. And he's drawn well. He should sit on speed, and they're targeting him towards a Melbourne Cup as well. And Willie Pike's actually said, "You know what, boys? I'll ride him in the Cup for you."
Billy Pike.
So I reckon he looks a really nice each way chance in this. So I'm quite keen on him. Who do you think, mate?
Mate, I went a nice each way chance as well. Number 5, De Beer.
He was the other one.
Yeah, for you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So his last race, it was 6 weeks ago. He ran third to the number 3 in this race, Order of the Garter, who ran second, and then Romancer, if you remember, won that race. De Beer really powered through his gears towards the end of the race, and again is another one of those horses who's got the really nice action with his head moving forward, and sort of really fighting for the line. He's never lost second up. Query is he's drawn the car park. But look, I'm happy to go with him as well at an each way price. I think this race, like you said, there's a few chances, but a tough race to pick a winner. So
I'm happy to work around the favourite Order of the Garter, just because that run he had last start, that was his first run for 96 weeks.
Yeah.
And before that, he only had one run in 61 weeks. So he's only raced twice in 150 weeks. Like, he's very lightly raced. He's had some injury problems. So, look, he's a part of the Danny O'Brien stable. I'm sure he's good to go, but happy to risk him. I'd rather play at that 750 on offer for Shabao or 950 for De Beer. Righty, mate, let's get stuck into the back half of the card. The Heath, 1100 Group 3. This is a cracker.
Mate, it really is. Another tough race, though. There's a lot of really good chances. So I'm going to chuck a box try in this race. Nice little Joe Exotic. But the two horses that really stood out for me were the number 14, Lyre, and number 13, Diamond Effort. I've been burnt by Lyra a few times before in the past, but she has also dummy well in the past too. But I think her last prep in Adelaide, she was really impressive. She didn't get a win, but she had the blinkers on, and every race, her closing sectionals were really impressive. And I think in this, she's got a bit of class. I think she's drawn to do no work. And I think the sort of drier track is more beneficial for her too. So I really like Lyre. And yeah, the other horse that I mentioned is the horse you've got on top.
Yeah, I've got Diamond Effort on top, punters. I think this girl's just bulletproof. She's every step up that she's made, she's taken that next step. Now, this might be a bit sharp for her. I think she's better out to about 1200 or so. But I reckon she'll be targeting the lower sprint Group 1s this prep, I reckon. I reckon she'll be
unbeaten last prep.
Yeah, no, she was really impressive. I reckon she'll be going to like the Moya and the other sprint race at Moonee Valley, I reckon.
Yeah.
Throughout the spring. She has a solid rating, and I think she might need the run, but I can definitely find out at $9. I think, she'll give you a great sight. The barrier is very sticky. So, look, I'm not rushing.
Give it a real big whack.
I'm not rushing in to have a bet. It's probably more of a C race for me.
Agreed.
But, if I choose on the day, mate, I'll have a little tickle each way. But the other runner in this race, who I picked in the All-Star Mile, was number 2, Superstorm, who I jumped off Regal Power, the All-Star Mile, onto Superstorm, and you know the rest, punters. But he looks a proper horse. I think the WA team are saying that this bloke's in their top 2 horses that they brought over. He's a proper horse, but 1100 first up just seems a bit too sharp.
I think that's fair enough. I think that's my reason for leaving Superstorm. Not having it as my top pick, but look, it'll be definitely in the trifecta. So I've got number 2 Superstorm, number 12 Hummer, number 13 Diamond Effort, and obviously number 14 Lion in that trifecta.
Looking at those, mate, I think you're pretty well on the money.
Let's hope.
Mate, wouldn't that be nice? Alrighty. Stuck in. First leg of the quaddie, mate. Who you got on top?
Mate, Blue Diamond winner, which you picked. Number 1 Tagaloa for me.
Yes, I'm with you.
Blinkers on for the first time, which is interesting. Drawn well, more than happy to have a go. Trainers have said that it's going to go for the Caufield Guineas, and then they really want to go for the Cox Plate as well with it too. So that's a bit ambitious.
It is.
But look, I like that attitude.
They always said about this bloke, this colt, that he was going to make a better 3-year-old, and he's really filled out. I've seen his trials to date, and they've been awesome.
Yeah.
And the latest one that he had his blinkers on, he just was absolutely coasting, but he still ran really nice time. So I'm with him on top as well. The other runner I'm interested to see, and I think they're targeting this bloke towards a Caufield Guineas as well. It's number 7 Flying Award for Danny O'Brien. So this bloke won on Anzac Day at Flemington, and that race up at Flemington can actually pull out some pretty handy horses. Can't remember them off the top of my head, but yeah, I think he's one that I'm going to watch. I think the 1200 is probably going to be a bit sharp for him, but I think tag lower, blinkers on, drawn well, he can get the chocolates. Alrighty, mate. Race 8. 1700 metre. You don't see many of them.
You don't see many 1700s, mate.
Alrighty, mate. Listed race handicap.
Well,
Talk us through it.
So the number 8, Circoni, which is the favourite, I believe, at the time of recording this podcast. So it ran second in the PB Lawrence, obviously, and now Saviciano, which won that, is now the favourite for the Memsie. But I'm with number 11, Plain CL. I'm happy to forgive.
Sorry, mate. Before you go on, you labelled him a cat last time.
I did, but I'm happy to forgive because he actually showed some heart last race. He proved me wrong. Like, he didn't win.
It is caddish behaviour.
Which is caddish behaviour, but I think the thing that he lost to, think we're due. I think it was a good race by it last start, but I don't think it's a classy horse at this stage. Reading Plain CL's form, it is good in Caufield. And look at that price. I think it was $3 pumped in, even more last start.
Yeah.
So definitely happy to give it a whack at an each way. Not a massive whack though. And Circoni's a decent horse, but I'm happy to take it on.
No, mate, he was advantaged from the absolute jog that they were going around in the PB. So I'm happy to work around him as well. And I've gone for one I'm looking at $18 on my screen at the moment. Number 4, Dr. Drill.
Dr. Drill, great name.
Yeah, great name. I have a feeling about this bloke. I remember watching him at Scone. He won the Scone Cup over a mile. He absolutely exploded through that field. He beat
I remember that actually. Yeah,
he beat Faistos, who's pretty smart. He's been trialling up super, or not trialling, but he's been having some really nice jump outs, and I think the $18 on offer is stupid stuff. Look, he's drawn the car park. He has to get some luck across. He'll be sitting just about midfield, maybe just off the leaders, if all things go well. But Willow on board, mate, could be worse.
Could be worse.
Yeah. See how the doctor goes. Alrighty, mate. Let's skip the feature.
Jump over the Memsie.
And we'll go into the last.
If you're listening to this podcast and not watching us on YouTube, you'll see both of us have a really big smile on our faces.
Of course we do.
Because one of our favourites, my favourite horse at the moment, she's just a good girl. Number 1, Ruby Saki. It's racing. Unbeaten last prep. First up last prep, absolutely exploded.
Showed heart.
Oh, huge.
And grit.
Grit, 2 ticks already.
Mate, all right. Turn a foot.
Turn a foot, that's 1 tick.
Yeah. She was a filly last prep.
She was a filly, that's a big tick.
Yeah. And Billy Egan on board, who I love that he pulls the sleeves up when he rides.
Mate, because he's just getting to work.
Yeah, isn't he?
Rolling his sleeves up and riding a winner.
And getting the job done.
Yeah, look, she's lost once, and when she lost, she ran second. She's a classy horse, and really excited to see what she can do this spring. Definitely got her on top.
Yeah, mate, I have nothing else to add. I think she'll win. The one who is down the bottom, there's actually a couple down the bottom who I'm keen to look at. Definitely not going to back them. Bless her, I backed her in as my best each way a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
She's won 5 in a row. She's done nothing wrong. She could easily run into the money again. She's drawn perfectly again. When these horses get on a roll, everything seems to go for them. Remember when Redzel...
Oh, he didn't draw a bad barrier for 12 months.
It was unbelievable. He just everything went for him, and he ended up winning 7 or 8 in a row.
Yeah.
So I think there's something about that, and I think that's happening with this girl. I think she's just going to run into someone who's just a bit classier than her, because I think Rubisaki's a Group 1 winner and waiting. But bless her, mate. She's done nothing wrong. She could run into the money. The other one is Clarice Cliffs has been trialling up really nicely.
Okay.
She's been... she started off her autumn prep a bit so-so, but she finished off her prep quite nicely, and I think she'll do all the hard work up front. She typically leads. Barrier's not great, but if she doesn't do too much work, she could feature into the money as well. So Rubisaki on top, bless her, and Clarice Cliffs trying to the minors.
Yeah, definitely keep an eye out. And yeah, really excited to see her back. So yeah, great Group 3 race to finish off the day.
Absolutely. Alrighty, mate. The Memsie. Before we get stuck in, I'm going to start doing this each week wherever I can. I'm going to bring some stats to you, mate.
You love stats.
I do love stats. Time honoured, mate. When do you reckon this race kicked off? Give me a number.
1864.
Gee, that's early. But 1899.
Oh,
30 years.
Right century?
Yeah. Previous winners, mate. Let me know if you heard some of these before. Farlap.
No.
Sunline.
No.
Makybe Diva.
Oh, she won a cup?
Yeah, a few times.
Gee whiz, that's crazy.
So you think.
Gee whiz, that's some class.
Yeah. Which barrier, and this is a real conundrum, has produced the most winners? Barrier 4. You know who's drawn Barrier 4 this week? Mystic Journey.
Oh.
So she's gone from drawing the worst barrier in the PB to drawing statistically the best barrier. I think she's drawn perfectly. But that aside, mate, time honoured, only been a Group 1 for about 10 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's the price tag on it? Do you know?
$750.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and they've actually tweaked the distance of it as well. So it used to be out to a mile, 1,800, then they brought it back to 1,400.
Okay.
So time-honoured race. Not as excited for this field as I was for the Winx Stakes, but nevertheless, there's some quality horses in this field. And mate, let's get stuck in. Let's give a preview. So, what are your thoughts on the race, mate? How do you think it's going to unfold?
Mate, well, there's going to be some early speed, I think. Obviously, there's a few horses that, we've been watching recently that we've sort of said if there was a better tempo in the race, we think it'd be more suited. So, yeah, I think certainly some horses that should get out. One horse that I think, like you said just before, is drawn perfectly is Mystic Journey. How do you think she's going to sit from barrier 4?
She'll be, I reckon, 4th in the running. I reckon you have Streets of Avalon. He knows no other way. He's going to get what's seemingly going to be either a soft 5 or a good 4 on the weekend, and he needs that. He needs a hard track to be effective. He's gonna lead, which he couldn't do last start. Iconoclasm could draw up, be good to your mother as well, and Sabatiano should sit on the pace.
Yeah.
And she's going to stalk them the entire trip, I reckon.
Yeah, and then you've got your Regal Powers and your Cascadians sort of hanging at the back. I think because they've drawn the middle barrier, they can sort of watch what's unfolding in front of them, which is beneficial for both those horses. But yeah, I think Mystic Journey not having anything inside of her rushing out is beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely. The really interesting runner in this race is the 15 Glenfiddich.
Yeah, I was looking at that and I haven't really sort of heard about it too much.
So he was a runner-up to King's Legacy in the 2-year-old Group 1 over a mile, and he looks. I just think he's a miler. I don't think he's a 1,400 meter horse. But in saying that, he gets 6.5 kilos off everything. He has 50 kilos on his back. Peter Moody on RSN today was saying that he'll sit in the first 6, trying to use that barrier, use that lightweight. So if he's fully wound up, first up, he could be one that could run into the money at like, you're not getting a massive price about him, but $12 is pretty good. Typically, when these younger horses go into these Group 1s, they struggle a little bit. Not necessarily the top-end horses. When I'm talking about like Bivouac, Loving Gabby have won against the older horses, but this guy hasn't proved it yet, and I can't take $12 for him. If he was for like $40, I could definitely take that.
Have a throw at the stumps.
I'd definitely have a throw at the stumps for that.
Play on.
Alrighty, mate. Before we get into your top tip, I was able to get Behemoth at a bit of a price a few weeks ago after he had that massive run in Adelaide. I could not get involved at the $4 on offer.
Yeah, what did you get him at?
11s.
Gee whiz, okay.
But he's unproven at weight for age. That race in Adelaide was weight for age, but he beat Dalasan, who over a troop that's not suitable to him. This is definitely a step up in class. He's drawn barrier 2, which is quite possibly the worst barrier draw of the entire lot. He's a massive animal. He's literally a behemoth.
He's well named.
I think I was quite keen on him before the barrier draw, but I can't get involved at the price or from the barrier. So I'm jumping off him, and I'm actually jumping on number 10, Be Good to Your Mother.
Yeah, you mentioned that to me today, and I thought, oh, geez, that was unexpected. But looking into its form and having a bit more of a think about it, mate, that's a decent shout.
I don't think there'll be as much speed in this race as people expect. I think he's much better suited out to 1400 than he is at 1200. He drops back in weight from... I think he carried over 60 kilos last start, so he drops a bit of weight, which will be advantage to him. He needed that first up hit out. And Dan Bowman, he said on radio today or yesterday that he wouldn't swap. The only horse he'd swap, or the only horse that he was worried about, was Arcadia Queen. And I don't think she's going that well.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of punters and betting agencies putting Arcadia Queen on top. And look, I can understand. I can. But I agree. I don't think she's going as well.
Like, I definitely wouldn't be surprised if she won. Like, I haven't seen the other boys' picks, but you know what? I hope she's in our quaddie. Like, for some insurance. But I can't get involved at the $7 on offer because she has to prove it to me. And I think Be Good to Your Mother is the one that's way over the odds at $20. So, alrighty, mate. Who have you got on top?
Mate, a horse that we spoke about a few times a couple of weeks ago. I've got number 9, Cascadian. Look, I think his run in the PB Lawrence, he worked home really nicely against the tempo on the worst turf. Was really impressed by that. Both times he's running Caufield, he's drawn really wide. He's drawn the middle barrier here, number 8. I think he'll be able to sort of sit back like he does. He's a classic back marker. Have a look at what's unfolding in front of him. And I don't think he'll have to do as much work to power through his gears and swoop at the end. He's a horse who can find himself in trouble. I think last prep he had a few thirds or fourths or seconds where he was trying to get out and there was just a wall in front of him. So look, with a bit of luck, I think Cascadian will get a good run and hopefully picks up his first Group 1. I think at the price as well, he's $12 at the moment. I think that's a good price. Definitely happy to have him.
Not sure about all the other boys, but Bradley's tipped Cascadian on top and Mac has gone Mystic Journey. Yeah,
Mac has got a real soft spot for Mystic. That's a great shout. I'm glad she's in the quaddie. And I wasn't expecting Brad to go Cascadian, but I can, obviously... it's good to see another punters on the same page as me.
I thought he would have been going Arcadia Queen for sure. I think he's back to every single start since she's come over to the east.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But alrighty, mate. So give me your top 3. Who do you reckon is going to run into the money in this race?
Well, Oh, you go.
I reckon Be Good to Your Mother on top. I'm gonna go with Mystic Journey to run second, and at a price, I'll chuck in Glenfiddich.
Yeah, nice. Look, Cascadian on top. I'm going to go Mystic Journey as well to run second. And look, I think I'm happy to have Arcadia Queen third as well. I think she's definitely a class horse. I don't think she's going as well as what people think, but I think she'll still feature.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Alrighty, mate. So another Group 1 in the books. Hopefully punters will get a result this time. But alrighty, mate, this is what people are waiting for. Each and every week, where we try and raise some money for living legends, and we've raised a total of $20 over the 2 weeks that we've done it. $1 at a time, punters. But before we get into our best bets of the day, which we lob into a multi and we donate the proceeds to living legends, tell me, mate, who's your roughie of the day?
Mate, it was a horse that we spoke about a bit earlier in Caufield, race 3, number 16, 1,000 Wishes. I think for the form it has, I think the 20-odd bucks at the moment is a good price. In a race that is, like we've said, is quite open. Each way. Why not?
Why not, mate? Why not? Give that thing strength. I have two, and I'm the host of this, so I can do what I want. There shouldn't be too much of a surprise, punters, but I'm going Dr. Drill, race 8, number 4, at $18, and Be Good to Mother. I think he's stupid odds. I've already secured both of them at the price. So race 9, number 10, Be Good to Your Mother, and race 8, number 4, Dr. Drill. Your best each way, mate?
Man, I've got 2. Sorry, I don't host the show, but look, I've got the horses that I've picked in race 4 and 5. Number 4, Yulong January in race 4, and then number 5, De Beer in race 5. I think De Beer is probably the better shout of the two of them, but they're both good each way prices at the moment, punters. So have a shot.
Ooh, we have a bit of a head-to-head here. Because my best each way is race 5, number 9, Shabao against De Beer.
I like this.
Side bet.
We might have to.
6-pack.
Yeah, all right.
Easy, done.
So as in, like, if either of us wins, or what if, like, I run second and you run, like, 4th?
No, beat at home. So
beat at home, right.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. 6-pack.
Done. Alrighty. Best bet of the day, mate. I think we're singing again from the same hymn book.
Yeah, look, Ruby Saki in the last.
Has to be.
Look, that's a bet with the head and with the heart. Love the horse.
It's the only way to bet, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Love the horse. I think she's a class in that race, and she's proven she can do it first up. She's proven she can do it with a bit more weight than the others on the back.
I think she'll jump closer to $2 as well.
What's she at the moment? Like
270. Do you know what she opened? 380.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, gee whiz.
Filthy, I missed that.
Gee whiz.
So I've taken what I've actually done, mate, because I knew that Rubisaki is going to be your best. So I had to find something alternative because she's my best at Caufield. But I'm going to what is the feature race in a 6-horse field, and this is going to be an absolute cracker in Rose Hill. Race 5, the San Domenico Stakes. You have Mamaragan. I think that thing ran 3rd in the slipper, if I remember correctly. Yes, it ran 3rd in the size produce. You have Doubtland, which every punter on Twitter is tipping to me that this thing's going to win. Anders, who won by 6 lengths last start. Every Rose, which is probably a class below these. You have Peltzer, and you have Osamu, maybe. If that is indeed your name.
So what's your best bet out of these?
I'm really keen on Peltzer.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I think this boy just jumps to the front. It's going to be a good track in Sydney, finally. Which
it's been a long time. It's been a long time.
I think Anders might be a really, really good wet tracker. And Peltzer's beaten him home before. And Mamaragan needs a little bit further. And Doubtland, I think he needs further. Peltzer's the one on top for me. So we'll lob them into multi already. I've already done it because I think Rubisaki's going to jump at a better price.
She'll get pumped in. You watch.
So bang, Rubisaki into Peltzer with a little bit of a boost. $10, mate. So chuck $10 on it already for Living Legends. Hopefully we send $100 their way this week.
Hey, wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't it? Alrighty, punters. That's the show this week, but thanks for tuning in. I can actually confirm that we are on YouTube this week.
We're on YouTube.
Yeah, because I'm actually looking at us right now.
We're on YouTube.
But yeah, give us a watch on YouTube if that's how you like to do things. But if not, give us a follow on Twitter or on Instagram and let us know how we're going and if you have any feedback for us. But and you can also listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. But until next week, punters, all the best on the weekend and go well.
Best of luck, guys. Have a good one.